We're told of a legend long ago of a kingdom that held a golden power, sought out by a man of great evil. His plans to take the golden power were thwarted by a hero wielding the Master Sword. But this seal wouldn't last forever, and the evil returned to once again wreak havoc. The people believed that the Hero of Time would again come to save them. But the hero did not appear. One of my favorite parts of Zelda is the opening of the Wind Waker. It tells us of the events occurring back in Ocarina of Time, of both Ganondorf and the Hero of Time. What makes this story so great is its crushing realism. Because the hero went back to his own timeline, no hero was there to save the citizens from Ganon's rampage. Instead, the gods chose to flood the land of Hyrule in an attempt to temporarily seal this great evil, so that one day another hero could rise and defeat it. This led to the birth of the Great Sea explored in the Wind Waker. The islands within this ocean vary in both size and shape, some being home to residents while others too dangerous to approach. There's one island that the player never gets to see, as it's in ruins by the time you arrive. Greatfish Isle is one of 3 islands visited, in an attempt to locate the goddess pearls. The one who holds this pearl, Jabun, is found by backtracking to Outset and destroying the wall protecting his cave. No matter what you do, Greatfish Isle remains destroyed, making it difficult to explore. But how exactly did this island meet its end? The King of Red Lions tells us that it was Ganon's doing, but with this level of destruction, it couldn't simply be by mere monsters. Luckily, we can take bits and pieces of the information given and come to a plausible conclusion. We must first establish when this island was destroyed. Greatfish Isle is in this state even at the beginning of the game. Therefore, it must have been prior to the start of the game, right? Technically, no. While it is always destroyed, the game prevents you from sailing in this direction until it's relevant to the story. The player is to assume that it's destroyed only shortly before we visit the island. We also know from Tingle's dialogue that he was alive to know of Greatfish Isle before it was wrecked. Whatever caused its destruction was both swift and powerful, but what exactly happened? Greatfish Isle was home to the water spirit Jabun, just as Dragon Roost to the sky spirit Valoo and Forest Haven to the earth spirit the Deku Tree. There's a parallel between these 3 spirits, as each has their own island and guards one of the 3 goddess pearls. And since the Rito and Koroks live under the protection of Valoo and the Deku Tree, you'd expect a 3rd race to live on Greatfish Isle with Jabun. But there's no mention of any tribe, other than the ones previously discussed. One of the Goron traveling merchants does appear at Greatfish, but it's unlikely they used to live here. In fact, given the layout of Dragon Roost, as well as the statues within its cavern, the Gorons most likely lived here before the arrival of the Rito. This all leads into one possibility, that the Rito's home used to be on Greatfish Isle before their evolution. In other words, when they were the Zora. The Koroks are said to be the same as the Kokiri, and are watched over by the Deku Tree, implied to be the same sprouts seen in Ocarina of Time. And the name Jabun is somewhat similar to the guardian Jabu Jabu at Zora's domain. Perhaps this island was home to the Zora, who were under the protection of Jabun until they received Valoo's scales and moved to Dragon Roost Island. Hyrule Encyclopedia implies that Greatfish Isle is directly above Lake Hylia. While this would solidify the theory of the Zora living here, lots of assumptions would be made. And, as we all know, books such as Historia and the Encyclopedia are not necessarily canon. The island itself has a few details worth noting. We might not be allowed to explore these ruins with Link, but we can take advantage of the game's mechanics and still explore Greatfish Isle. It's time for a mini-episode of Boundary Break. There's an item in Wind Waker called the Hyoi Pair that allows the player to take control of seagulls. It's very similar to how the beetle works in Skyward Sword, except you're given an unlimited amount of time when flying. This lets us look at anything we want at any angle. Right off the bat, we can see that Greatfish Isle is split up into multiple chunks of rock. Whatever hit this island was powerful enough to break it apart. Multiple buildings and trees are planted in the foundation of this rock, and given their angles, proves that parts of the island were dislocated and partially sunk into the ocean. There's a very strange object around the edge of this island, what appears to be a broken stone slab submerged in water. There's a strange pattern carved into it that looks somewhat familiar. A couple of boats can be seen, one by the shore, the other destroyed along with a building. Using the NoClip website gives us a better look at the cloud above Greatfish Isle. It's the exact same one that surrounds Dragonroost. The existence of boats tells us that there were people living on this island before it was attacked, and that they most likely fled Greatfish, same as Jabun. There's a good chance this island was inhabited by Hylians in the present day, as boats are their only method of transportation. Both the Rito and Koroks have the ability to fly, and if the theory of the Zora living here is correct, they would have left the island long ago. Outset Island also has some boats, though they are different in design. In regards to the strange stone slab outside Greatfish Isle, the reason it should look familiar is because we've seen it before. Or in this case, later, as the player blows up the wall blocking the cave located behind Outset. It has the same pattern and carvings as the one on Greatfish Isle. And like Outset, it was home to Jabun before he fled. The cave was most likely around this section of the island, where the broken slab rests. Something rather strange about the clouds surrounding Greatfish and Dragonroost is how nothing of the sorts is found at Forest Haven. My initial assumption was that these would be found at all three islands, perhaps to symbolize Ganon's dark influence. But there's a much more believable answer. The clouds around Dragonroost are ash clouds, and the one above Greatfish is a storm cloud. Defeating Goma stops the endless downpour of ash, and the cloud above vanishes. The storm cloud at Greatfish Isle is self-explanatory. One of the Rito tells us that this island suffers under dark clouds and rain, described by Valoo as a curse. One that later affects the Great Sea, an endless night with a perpetual downfall of rain. This curse is only broken once Link retrieves the final pearl. An island torn apart piece by piece, and a curse that brings a never-ending storm, the source of this curse being Ganon. What if Greatfish Isle was destroyed by a bolt of lightning? Whatever hit this island was powerful enough to destroy its very foundation, and the one who created this curse, Ganondorf, specializes in electric magic. This is made abundantly clear in Breath of the Wild. Divine Beast Van Naboris is a dungeon themed around electricity. In fact, one of the items key to the plotline in Breath of the Wild is the Thunder Helm, which gives the user immunity to electrical attacks. The very nature of this curse solidifies the theory. Greatfish Isle is ravaged by a storm. But more importantly, the background shows multiple strikes of lightning hitting the ocean's surface. The fact this island is broken into multiple pieces, combined with the damaged surface, means that Greatfish suffered multiple lightning strikes. Ganondorf's goal differed from both Dragonroost and Forest Haven. He sought the annihilation of Greatfish Isle and its guardian. The wall protecting Jabun from outsiders was too strong for mere monsters to break. It takes multiple hits with bombs to destroy on Outset. Ganondorf needed something else, an attack both swift and powerful. Therefore, he put a curse on the island, destroying it with lightning. Given how weak aquatic creatures are to electrical attacks, such as the Zora in Breath of the Wild, using bolts of electricity wasn't only practical, but effective. There are some hints that monsters invaded Greatfish. The King of Red Lions states that it was ravaged by monsters, and there exists an enemy raft on the island. After it was destroyed by the storm, Ganondorf most likely sent monsters in search of the water spirit Jabun in case he survived the attack. It's unfortunate that we're unable to see this island before it was destroyed, given the fact that Wind Waker has less dungeons than other Zelda titles, and that this is one of the 3 key areas to the story. There's a good chance that a dungeon was planned to be here, similar to Dragonroost and Forest Haven. At the very least, we're given enough information to grasp the events that may have occurred here, though it remains as an unsolved mystery. I hope you all enjoyed the theory. Let me know in the comments what you thought of it. Was Greatfish Isle destroyed by lightning or by something else? Links to my Discord and Twitter are down below, and special thanks to my patrons for your continued support on the channel. I've been NintendoBlackCrisis, and if you'll excuse me, I have to prepare for Animal Crossing New Horizons. See you all in 3 months. My body is Reggie.